Oh, hello, and welcome to yet another thrilling episode of Who the F is Rob White, the show where I tattoo fellow stand-up comics and have some fun and laughs. Guys, my guest today is Heather Mae. Heather, tell the camera up there a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Mae. I am a comedian. I am a club owner, the Drop Comedy Club in South Bend, Indiana, and I also manage comedians, so doing it all.
A bunch of cool stuff going on there, and we are going to actually be tattooing the Drop Comedy Club logo on your back, so that's kind of cool. I've never done a comedy club logo, and yeah, here we go, rock and roll. So, this is interesting because you're the first, well, you're the furthest of any comedian I've had on the show now at this point, because Indiana, going all the way from South Bend, Indiana, is quite far from here. You guys flew or you drove?
We drove straight through the night. Traffic was much lighter that way, at least. Ooh.
Yeah, a little breathe in, breathe out. Getting tattooed and doing an interview is probably on the strangest list of shit you've probably ever done.
And requested to do. Basically begged.
Ain't that the weirdest part about this is like, hey, when I come out there, can I do, like, what? I want to get pain?
Well, I don't want the pain, but I have wanted this tattoo. And I believe I'm the first in 12 years of our club being open to get the logo tattooed. So I feel pretty proud of that,
Yeah, that is kind of cool. Do you want to, you want to talk about that? Like, how did this whole thing start? Now, did you start in the club or did you start as comedy first? How did that?
None of that. The origin story is quite interesting. I actually didn't know much about stand-up comedy or even that we had a club in our area. My first interactions were maybe comedy on cruise ships, like going with my grandma to the early show and then catching the dirty show, secretively.
Yeah.
And I always liked that. But I went to a fundraising event and found out that one of my friends from another private club we belonged to was one of the owners. And so I got some tickets, went out. The headliner that weekend talked to me from the front row about my boobs, and I was immediately won over. I felt seen. I felt acknowledged.
It was just all about cleavage and...
Yeah, and I know that was before the Me Too movement, so comics are much more careful in some of those things, depending. But as soon as I went, I fell in love, started going back regularly. The comics took me in as their own and tried to start getting me to do stand-up immediately. And it took years of that, of me just saying, I just love the club, I just want to help out, volunteering to be a manager.
Volunteering?
Well,
nobody wanted to do that? That sounds like a fun job. Like that seems like something you'd like volunteer to manage at a comedy club. Seems like.
Well, in some places that's kind of like you're right up at, or I don't know, the paying your dues. But our club is a club run by comics for comics. So when it was opened originally, it was 2 stand-up comedians that got things going, had a great start. It's passed hands, goodness, I couldn't tell you how many times. Sometimes up to, I think, 5 or 6 owners at a time. And then
That's
a crew.
Crazy.
Yeah.
5 or 6 owners at one.
Have you met male comedians?
Time, though,
it takes them all.
You just got like 5 or 6 people just saying, like, totally different personalities every single day of the week.
Mm-hmm. They had different roles assigned. I mean, some, they definitely paid attention to where their skill areas were and divided and conquered.
So they weren't all just bookers. I'm just imagining 5 or 6 men trying to tell you what you're supposed to do.
I think they collaborated on some of it. And they did bring some great names that have that were good then, but have since popped. And
I think filled a hole in that number because Mishawaka had a great show, and then they shut down. So you guys like kind of.
Wait, what?
I don't know if you could hear that.
The plate and kind of.
Are you making some of my big evil guy speech right now or something?
Replaced.
you want to come closer?
Yeah, yep.
Comedy scene.
You're like a mile away from me right now. There's cars and trucks.
People might not hear this random raspy voice in the background. It's yeah, they can see him, but they don't know what he's saying.
volume.
It's Terry McNeely, everybody. Terry McNeely is here hanging out, doing a little bit of drinking as he's known
Cheers.
to do. He's yammering on in the background. Sounds like Bryan Adams if he smoked more cigarettes. I don't know.
What Terry was alluding to was before my time, so I'll only give
Everything Terry talks about is before everyone's time. Terry's a product of the Reagan administration.
That explains a lot.
Oh yeah.
There we go. But there were a couple other clubs in the area. I think a Funny Bone. I don't want to speak too much because the details get fuzzy for me. It was a bar and restaurant that took over. They wanted a comedy night. They did a great job with it. It did conflict with our open mic, but it also often meant that some of their headliners would pop over to our open mic after. So there was some collaboration there. It's actually mine and Terry's origin story and how we became friends.
The X-Men?
Yeah, we have an origin
story.
A buddy of mine asked me to accept 3 men I didn't know.
Wait, hold on. That's a different story. That's a different.
I promise it's related and appropriate. To put them up for the night because they
put them up for the night.
I put them up in my at the time, pretty brand new home. And they arrived in the middle of the night.
Mike got his own bedroom, and Gary slept on the couch with his daughter's pet dream.
Wait, so you
or they were snuggling.
You housed Terry McNeely, Mike Merck, and who was the third?
Gary Garcia.
Gary Garcia.
Yeah.
What was that drug-fueled Tasmanian devil night like for you? I mean, was it just like a dust pile and just random piles of other things? And
You didn't even stay there, right? Did you take off?
First of all, you got there in the middle of the night. I had a light on for you, told you.
Motel 6?
And I was just going to be asleep. I did get out of bed and greet them, pointed them to their guest rooms. I used to be a very good guest or host. Yeah, I left for work the next morning. That was when I was still teaching. So Gary drank my coffee throughout the day and hung out with my dog. I don't remember what you guys did. And I met you at the show later.
Yeah.
On the club itself.
Well, how you started in comedy and how it started in the comedy club.
Yes.
So it basically all coincided at the same time, getting into comedy and getting into being and running a club.
Yeah, and unexpectedly. So at the time that I was a manager, and I was meeting a lot of comics and starting to give my suggestions for headliners and things like that. And I was doing a lot of the boots on the ground as the manager and honestly streamlining some processes that were, challenging for men to keep track of. And at that time, 4 of the owners had moved off to Chicago to pursue their comedy dreams. So it was all managers that were on site, and the owners were giving, were running the behind. Sorry, a little bit breathing. Yeah,
club from afar.
Yeah, and it was all
an easy task.
Yeah, and it was all with great effort. I love those guys to death. Slowly over time, one by one, they were bought out until it was just one owner left, who is one of my favorite humans, but he was working a full-time job in Chicago and still trying to manage all of the requirements of running a club, and we could tell that it was difficult to keep up. So I wanted in. I at least wanted to buy in. And I had another manager partner that had an interest specifically in booking. And I didn't know as much about booking then. So we asked that last owner if he wanted to stay on and wanted a partnership or if he wanted out. And he was ready to pass the baton. It happened pretty quickly. It was really just an even exchange of you keep the cash on hand and all of the equipment that's there. And we chose to have him disband the actual LLC and start our own with basically the same name, just so that there was, yeah. And I think, not that we assumed anything wasn't on the up and up, but we had assets to protect and we just wanted to make sure that it was all free and clear.
So you're in a hotel.
We are now in a hotel.
And so the club's downstairs from there, which is that's gotta be cool.
It's got a basement vibe. Our original location was actually next to the jail.
Nice.
It had a great history. I think they opened in 1938, called the Dewdrop. And actually the owner of the Dewdrop, I funded some of the startup. Amazing lady.
That's what it was called, the Dewdrop. So that's where the story of the drop comes in.
The Dewdrop was a bar in the movie with Cusack, One Crazy Summer.
Yeah, like the Dewdrop Inn, right? That's one of those type
yes.
of...
Actually, there is another historical location. And it was the old cop shop because they were right next to the jail. So that was like where they went for their breakfast. She had an amazing fish fry on Fridays. And in order to bring up her weekend sales, she welcomed the comedy club in and did some to actually fund the cost to get it started, which was amazing. Ooh, I'm breathing through some pain here. So
nah, you're doing fine.
Thank you. I'm like real tough, I hear.
It's not fun, but trust me, you're doing A-okay.
So we were there as owners for a full year. Had lots of success. COVID hit, shut us down. We stayed virtual with an open mic.
Yeah, and that's interesting. A virtual open mic. Like, how did that...
That's actually how I met Adam Gable.
Okay.
I did not meet Adam. I'm going to just drop all these names while we're here.
And Adam sounds like he gargled with, like I don't even know, like Satan's dick.
Yes. Yeah.
He does. He sounds like that.
Yeah.
He sounds like he has the throat cancer kazoo, but he doesn't have it. That was your virtual meeting with him was on what were you guys, Skype then? What was the...
We used, Zoom. We recorded on Zoom. And honestly, we built this network of comics through that from all over the world. We had a comic.
I've always heard that's been the thing. Like these webcam shows are like amazing for comedy, but I always just feel like I want to be there with the person. Like how am I supposed to?
It was all we had then, though. Like it was literally our only connection. So we would do the open mic, and I don't remember. Some of the time we were live streaming to Facebook. It took figuring out the technology, definitely.
Zoom is kind of entertaining for the audience.
Yeah.
For comedians, I could never do it because I can't tell jokes to a laptop and get no feedback.
Yeah. And
But the audience enjoys it, but for me, I never did one because I was like, after my gasoline.
And
I don't get my gasoline, I stop doing it.
yeah, and I couldn't because I couldn't at that time be on film because of my education job. So I actually had my screen turned off with my like little emoji image, and it said "boss lady," so that I was pretty free from identification. But I think it was always way more about the camaraderie that we were building with the comics, a little bit about just keeping relevant and making sure that people knew we were still around. But those we've connected back with Adam several times. One of our managers got married, and a comic from Wales came to the wedding, and we got to spend a great deal of time. She's wild. She took over as a host for a while.
It's funny that you did comedy behind an emoji with a boss lady name to hide your identity. Because the guy who's sitting right behind you after did the same exact thing.
And I didn't do anything.
He ran for public office and was afraid to be under his real name, so he did a fake,
True, I did.
A fake identity called Beef Wellington. And he was on stage as this this ridiculous character.
Yeah, it
when
was.
he roasted me for my 50th birthday. John Butera goes, "Do you want Rob to roast you or beef?" I go, "Absolutely, I want beef."
I had to. I
love
listen,
that.
I was fire commissioner, which no one gives a crap about out
He
here.
was an elected official.
But if
Yeah.
if it got into the newspaper, like local fire commissioner has this to say about that, like on his comedy skits, talking
Yeah.
about the whatever, talking bad about the Jews or the whatever you can get in trouble for, I don't know. And so therefore, yeah, I had to dress up as this looked like a used car salesman from fucking Dallas.
Yeah, it was like if Tony Clifton was selling used cars.
It looked like shit, but it was awesome. It was so much fun.
And my workaround, I never did comedy except for a fundraiser night. And what I did was someone else delivered my set. Because that was kind of like the theme of the show. And because we had done it so many times, our viewers that we did have they got the joke that it was another comic delivering their material.
That's interesting
So-
to see someone else doing what you're doing. It's like, I don't know how I would do that.
Oh, she did great. It was the gal from Wales. And I believe she maybe even wore a mermaid wig and leaned into some of the like just personal identifying things that those who know would pick up on. But my contract clause would have no bearing.
Wales. What the hell is the comedy scene like in Wales? Right? Probably cool.
Male
English
dominated.
comics. Well, comedy
Yeah.
generally is
Yeah.
male dominated. I mean,
So it's good.
yeah.
Oh, that's my boyfriend speaking, y'all.
Mark's a comic out there as well. Mark Darden, right? There he is.
Right? Mark chimed in with the sexist comment. Yeah, that's why I love
Oh, from the sideline.
No, he just waited the entire time because he knew he's like, there's gonna be a home run in here somewhere. I'm just gonna come in and clean up. Listen, there are some comics that are female that are funny. I mean,
Name three.
okay, Emily
Don't.
Santos,
Okay.
Bailey Pope.
You did Comedy in Wales?
Have I? No, I have not traveled to Wales. I've not.
Me and Rob did Comedy in Ireland.
Yes, we did. We both
That's
did.
a dream.
Not together, because that would have been hysterical, though. But yeah, we did comedy separately,
Yeah.
and
I did County Cork.
yeah, I did Dublin.
Did Dublin?
Yeah, Dublin's good.
That
shit.
would be a dream. I am Irish.
It's fun.
I've been over there for 8 days. And I was on like a regular vacation with an ex. And then the last night, I knew a booker that moved from there to here, and then she moved back there. And she's like, "Oh, you come over here. I'll be a fucking headline the show."
Now they talk, too.
It's weird overseas, but in Europe, because they do the shows. They do mini shows. They'll do host, feature, headliner, pre-commission, host, feature, headliner. So I feature the first part and I headline the second.
Yeah, somebody was just telling me about that setup.
For material, and then if you empty it out, then you try to do the same thing.
Is Canada doing some of that now too?
I would never go to Canada because someone got fined $40,000 for an inappropriate joke, and with my set, I would have $178,000 to pay them.
Canada.
Harry, Canada is gonna be America before you know it.
Canada.
Yeah, that's another one.
America Light. That's what I call it.
That
Recruiting you just for the tax
Someone
purpose.
gets to pay $40,000 for one inappropriate joke.
listen, I've done comedy
So
in
what would you-
Canada,
what would
and
you
my
even do?
jokes are totally inappropriate. I think you'd be.
For the rest of my life with my set.
That's true, actually. I won't deny it.
I mean, that's wrong. That's not up there and busy, that's the funny way to talk fat and Canada.
What are they going to do? They're going after stand-up comics. What are they going to do? Like, oh, we repossessed his '86 Honda Civic, and he's paying us off in Coles cash, and
Chevy from Wausau.
he's got a winning scratch-off from Pennsylvania.
Terry, how many days do we have to wait until officially they move to make Canada America? You're gonna be fine. Your time is coming.
Yeah, I mean, if some of the body takes it over, then they'll stop doing the Canadians for being funny.
We'll see.
They're going to Canada and Mexico. Drop the A before America.
God.
I love you. I love you.
Terry McNeely, everybody. Here he is. They didn't make two of them, you know? They just were like, they're good enough on this one.
I'm just here to drink. Well, I was performing at Heather's club, and I told her, I showed her the tattoo, and we eat chicken fingers with a hot pepper or the cook. And I'm like, yeah, the guy just fucking tattooed you with hot pepper. She's like, make it happen.
That's kind of the energy I came at him with. And then I thought he just did.
I was like, yeah, dude.
I was like, you took care of this, right? He was like, you were supposed to contact him.
Figure it all out.
They give you a tattoo and attention?
No.
And bourbon. I had it for my own. I just wandered in here and Rob's like, oh, look at the shelf. And I was like, oh,
Oh, Bourbon McNeely over there. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to give him, an Arizona iced tea? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? Give him one of those old... it's Terry. Give him one of those old plastic jugs with the tinfoil fucking top. Remember those? You had to pull it off and drink it and taste like purple. You don't remember those drinks you used to get back in the day?
Purple drink?
They were the jugs. And the little plastic jugs.
Yeah.
We're not drinking Dimetap. Not all of us.
Rob, when I was a kid, I used to think, I loved to take the Diamond so much, it was so great. That I would go out,
Just the taste of it.
I walked in the kitchen at like 8 in the morning, my mom, I'm like, I got a cold. And I just wanted her to give me Diamond Top, and I'm sucking it, the whole bottle.
You sound like one of those Pepto-Bismol kids.
He's abusing drugs at 9 years old.
That's how it starts.
Now the plastic jugs, the jug juice boxes that we get, the plastic jug. And here's the thing, here's the magical thing about it that you probably didn't realize, but you'll realize now. That back in the day, you remember the ice pops you used to cut the side of your face? Remember those things? The same shit. All it was in the plastic sleeve or in the jug, and one you froze and one you didn't. But if you thought one of those plastic ones, it's the same thing.
All right.
That's how cheap they were.
All right, real question. Any of you live in a neighborhood where you could buy frozen Kool-Aid in a styrofoam cup from a neighborhood house?
Okay.
Because
Well, I'm just going to ask a question. I'm
using
my psychic ability. Would this happen to be a certain ethnicity in this neighborhood?
I did live in a low-income neighborhood. I may have purchased said frozen Kool-Aid from a certain demographic.
Quote, low income.
No, I was poor as fuck. I lived in. I was just hoping to get some people like that had some of those similar experiences. Sorry, affluent.
No, the house that sells frozen Kool-Aid.
Were accepted.
That is true. That is
That's the
true.
frozen Kool-Aid house.
And we were freely. I mean, it was probably dangerous, but like we were protected because we were buying the Kool-Aid.
That's right. As long as you're buying the Kool-Aid, Jamal doesn't care. He's good with you at that point. Or Stephanie, whatever her name
This
is.
lady called the Candy Lady. You knock on her door and go right in the little vestibule, right in the entrance of her house, and you have like a whole, like a 7-Eleven rack. Snickers,
Oh, yeah.
Twizzlers, and everything.
What?
I would never, ever try that.
Oh, absolutely not.
They used to 800 feet from an elementary school and just walk in there and buy candy.
Yeah.
Even the ice cream man that rolls the neighborhoods now is not like the one we had. Like these ice cream trucks are beautiful, they're nice, they got the guy in there, he's got a uniform, whatever. When I was a kid, it was like a custom van conversion, but like they converted, they put like an Anderson window on the side of like an old school bus. There was some guy, it was like a dog groomer / also sharpen your knives / ice cream man. And they didn't even have a song. They didn't have a song, they just rang a bell, like
I mean, obviously there were some kids in the neighborhood that would let you know he was coming.
oh yeah.
By the time it came around for me, there was a song, and that was what got me running. Like, I wouldn't run for anything but the ice cream man.
The song of the ice cream man.
Which now is kind of creepy.
Now it's
Those snacks?
There's a lot of you gotta go in the green pocket and enter the bedroom and make a stupid game with Uncle Tommy.
Whoa! I was just opening up a little gardening, pick the leaves off and take citrus bark.
I thought we were only dipping a toe into the trauma.
Yeah,
Here's a rake and a citrus bark. Just working in the yard. Jeez.
water's fine. Put your whole goddamn arm in.
Hey, what 11-year-old never jerked off a fucking 36-year-old guy for a bag of Clipper?
I'm bad at smooth transitions, but we didn't get to the part about when I decided to become a comic, and it's a great story.
Yeah, so that how you actually want to go.
Yeah. So the deal had all been ready for us to transition as owners. LLC was set up, and we had a polar vortex. Polar vortex about 5 years at the exact same time we were supposed to take over.
What's a polar vortex?
It is when the weather gets so incredibly cold and the blowing winds caused such incredible drifts in the snow that it would make roads impassable. It would make the ice so dangerous that they would. It was basically like COVID lockdown, but for like 4 days. Yes, that was an enjoyable time, especially because again, in education, I was getting snow days. But I got a message in my, I think it was Facebook Messenger, and mind you, like I had been seen on a lot of stages. I was judging comedy competitions. I was in photos on stages regularly, never with a mic in my hand. But a gentleman reached out to me offering me a hosting gig. He said in Nashville. I thought Nashville. He meant Nashville, Indiana.
All right, nice.
Sweet.
That's a better Nashville, I've always been told. That is, Indiana Nashville.
And are you mic'd over there? Even better. So he pitched that to me, originally opening or hosting for Kostaki Economopoulos. And at the time, it is a mouthful. I think that's his tagline. It is the longest name in comedy. Great guy, but that fell through. His second choice was my partner in all things comedy, a musical comic, Charlie Hester. And I just texted her and was like, I've never written a joke, but like, I could host a comedy show in 3 months, right? She was like, duh. So I decided to take it and negotiated my pay higher than what it was worth.
That's insane! You getting paid to do hosting for a show like you didn't even do it yet. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, he said pick your rate. I said $100 because I need to board my bulldog. And he said done and proceeded to ask me to book the feature. And I negotiated her rate at $75, which was pretty solid. I asked what his budget was or whatnot, and I pushed him a little higher. And everybody killed at the show, but I literally had to start writing jokes that night and start going to Chicago Mike, start taking over my own stage, which I hated, and never looked back. Now those jokes were garbage back then, but my charm people love.
That's kind of fun though.
Yeah, it all happened literally at the same time.
This line here. Hold on. Cool. Connect that to there. And then it's just been downhill from there, right?
Yeah. A little bit uphill, ups and downs.
I didn't really say uphill or downhill. Uphill sounds bad, but downhill also can sound bad, right? Like you're going downhill, like you're spiraling, but it's also the easier way of going, right? So
but I'm always climbing upward.
Yeah.
Gotta reach that sky, got that glass ceiling, all that shit.
Oh, I thought you were going to start singing Miley.
No.
About the climb.
I'll save you that.
Song's a banger.
It is a banger for when you're crying.
I just cry. right home from the club, and I'm just like, I can almost see it.
Has there been a couple of CD recordings or releases at the club?
We have had numerous recordings at the club, and one Drop Productions album release so far, along with, and I'll drop a name, my next album release will be Stuart Huff, longtime
Nice.
legend. It was, I won't say a favor to me, but yes, a favor to me as I'm working on getting my production business off the ground, and it's fully finished and edited. We just have to plan the release
How
party.
many people does it wind up seating? How's the layout? So I've never been, of course, so I don't know the.
So it's an intimate seating. We have approximately, we can squeeze 62 in, plus
better
comics.
to have it smaller, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate when people are like, it's 350 and you're like,
You know, you'd be surprised, like, in the names that would actually harm you from being able to get. Because
Well-
they're not selling those numbers. And so,
just the laughs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the smaller clubs are underrated a lot of times. They're like, oh, no, you want to go to like, no, I want a smaller place with lower ceilings and really
Mm-hmm.
tight knit. And like, we just did a show at the Church of Satire in Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so nice and small that now when people say that, like, smaller clubs, I'm like, yes, way cooler,
yeah.
Love that kind of shit.
And we
Sure.
get plenty of jokes on stage which are funny about being locked in a basement. But the reality is,
Way
comics belong in a basement and they usually prefer it.
No, all the clubs in like New York City, all the original comedy clubs, places like in like Greenwich Village, like the Village was it the Greenwich Village Comedy Club and the Comedy Cellar and all those type of places were all little dark basements, and that's funny. Something's funny about it just when you say it out loud. You're like, where did we go to see comedy? It was in a dark basement with exposed pipes. Like, yes, good. That's what you
And
want.
that's totally true. We have a very industrial look inside of our room.
The dude next to you laughs and you feel that energy.
Right,
Right
100%.
there with them.
It should be like contagious, and then we're all looking around and like, yeah, you're having a fun time. I get it. I get that 100%.
Absolutely.
You were at a club this week. We were completely pressed together with everybody around us.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
no kind of space.
No, it's better that way.
Yeah, it's
So
a
much
comedy
better.
cellar. So
okay, yeah,
that was a
cellar,
huge
yeah.
moment for me to feel the nostalgia.
No, that's a great club. I mean, it's why I think it's why it's been one of the number one clubs in the world for so long. It's because of the fact that it's such a little cramped, little magical place. It's these theaters and everything. I can get it. People are like, yeah, you're saying that because you don't do theaters. Ugh. Like, nah, I don't know. Maybe someday if things go the way they do, I'll feel differently. But right now, I look at theaters and I'm like, that's just too much right there.
But I'll tell you, it's not just you saying that because you haven't done it. Many comics that do theaters tell me that they would prefer to do 2 to 4 shows over a couple of days and work that smaller, more intimate room.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're just blowing smoke. I think that's genuinely where they feel most comfortable.
No, it's a more intimate crowd, and there's something about that that's just, that's cool. I like that. And you're producing, you're doing live recordings there too. So you're all set up to record from that. That's cool.
I have a group of, our inner core, I call them my managers. They're not full-on employees. They're stand-up comedians that all bring different skills to the table. And they put a lot of work in, and so we team up on things like that together to make it happen. So I certainly wouldn't have the ability to film or edit. And on our first album, I outsourced the editing, and it turned out great, but it cost quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a great group of those core people that pull it all together for us.
You need a good team. And that's why I got Chris Silva behind the boards over there.
Hi, Chris.
Gotta get this done. Because I'm like an idiot ass. I have no idea what's going on. He'll tell me all the time, be like, Rob, no, you did it wrong. You can just tell he's frustrated. And because I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, he said he loved you first.
Oh, yeah, he'll come over like, I love you, but You're a complete ass. Like, I know. It's a good thing. Do you find that, like, I think that it's something in my brain lately that technology now is so insane with everything that you have to do all this other shit in order to just get to do what you originally wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, you want to do comedy, but it's like, oh, you want to do comedy? That's awesome. But you know what you need to do? Like, you need to learn how to get a social media following on TikTok. And you're like, I don't want to do TikTok breakdancing. I don't want to do...
Right.
Why do I got to do that? Well, you got to do that so that you can get booked at, the Chuckle Hut.
And it's very real. Most emails that I get on behalf of on behalf of comics from managers include their social media followings, all those numbers, which mean little to me in the sense of my weekend bookings. I want to know that comics are funny.
Thank you, because you know what? A lot of comics out there now are really disappointed in the fact that most of the bookings and clubs are like, hey, so what's your social media following presence? And you're like, I don't know. Hilarious. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I'm not
it
going to let your
honestly
audience down.
Kind of annoys me. Now, in saying that, wanting to produce some bigger shows in, bigger venues in my city or otherwise, I have to look at that a little bit differently. But my booking process is a little atypical, mostly because watching submission clips is painful. And I really tried. I know how important it is for comics. I know how hard they work to submit, but most of my bookings happen based on doing industry work at festivals, interactions that I've had, sometimes just pure vibe from interacting on social media one time. And I nailed that one out of the park.
You like the person.
Right.
Which it doesn't sound...
I've taken a couple of risks on a couple of occasions. I'm not recommending that to anybody, but I took a couple of risks on my vibe and connection with comics and a little bit of noticing their presence on social media, but not their numbers, and blind booked them. And best friends to this day, and they are straight killers that should be more famous than they are.
So it's just a feeling
that
sometimes.
Worked out. But yeah, and that's part of the kismet that you're tattooing on my back.
Kismet.
Yeah, I find that
Right there, too.
those moments, those interactions have just in my life tended to present themselves at the right moments. And
you're going on gut sometimes.
yeah, which is like the
not
only
wrong.
area of my life where I'm going on gut.
You just get a feeling when you see a video, like, well, and you know what? Speaking to that, because I'm sure a lot of comics have the same questions that I do. When a booker sees a tape, what is it you're really looking for? Some people say it's just the laughs. They don't care what the material is. Some people it's a look of a comic. But like, what do you pop in you pop in a VHS tape. Apparently, you're booking in the '80s, and all of a sudden,
But that's what it
comic.
feels like.
What is it that you see that you go, that person or not that person?
Okay, I'm going to give two answers, and I also want Mark to jump in
absolutely.
because he gives me perspective sometimes. I have a hard time watching clips that are of poor quality, visually and audio. I often have a very hard time hearing the comic. I have a very and this is just a personal thing. I have a hard time watching clips by myself because I don't get that community piece of it.
Okay.
And so often comics that may be very funny, I internalize it differently sitting on my couch, doing it as a job. So we've thrown around ideas like, can we do a watch party? And, that sounds crazy, but like that might get me watching more. I'm more apt to watch comedy specials or, podcasts or things like that to get a feel for someone's humor. But that's not the industry standard. The industry standard is having a high quality as best possible 5 to 7 minute clip and a longer clip ready at request of 20 to 30, or your stand-up specials, upon request. And the quality, the sound quality needs to be good. It's the film quality isn't as important to me, except I do watch for cadence, presentation, energy, and if the quality of the video takes away from that, or there's no video, I miss out on some of what the comic has to offer. And there's lots of great ways to get more professional clips done, and it seems like these young kids have all kinds of abilities to do their reels with the text overlay, all of that. I would be more apt to watch that as well.
Well, a lot of comic bookers will say that they...
Well, Mark has the microphone, so I'm leaning over. I'm not flirting with him.
No, it's okay if you do.
Wait, Mark has a microphone?
Yeah.
When did Mark get a microphone?
The best clips I have of me at clubs is done by Mr. Chris Silva over there on the
No, Chris has done some stuff that I've submitted too as well.
I was telling him outside every time I go to the club asking for the tape. I said I send him one of yours because it makes me look more important than I am. It's very professional.
Yes.
If I tape myself on my iPhone, I have to schmuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I get it that sometimes in order to get a clip that to submit, you have to record, and you should record as many of your sets as you can to watch back. Mark's really good about watching the playback.
Organic happens. Yeah. You want to capture it because it'll never happen again.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm asking for my clip from, I can't say, the show I did, not ripe jokes or just, No, the one last night.
Oh.
What's Adam's show at
The new joke show.
West Side? Yeah.
The new joke
Yeah.
show. Yes, you actually you're supposed to go up there and not do your A material. You're supposed to go up there and do new shit. And if it bombs, whatever.
Yeah, and he freaked me out.
We liked it, and the comedians love it. Because, you know, every comedian loves watching their friends eat a dick.
Yeah. And here's what happened. This was so beautiful. Adam terrified me about this. I never plan ahead. I showed up at the club, wrote 7 brand new minutes as I was getting prepared, and I did not eat a dick. Mark, please confirm.
Not that night.
Yeah.
Not.
Usually on stage, that's what the crowds applaud for.
Yeah. It felt really good for me. It was a new challenge that I was very nervous that I was going to need to look at my phone the whole time. And it came out and it delivered well. But I want that video because I need to remember how the jokes came out, because those are good things to build on. Normally, I don't want my clip because I don't want to watch it back and find out maybe it wasn't as... That's my ego.
The hard part, getting onto like the video thing, talking about the bookers, is like you get a clip or you get a video, and say you get yourself a good, like, I don't know, half-hour set, right? You record your half-hour set. They're like, well, we want to have the whole set, but we don't want it to be cut in any way, shape, or form. And my whole problem has been that if you're doing comedy, the first couple of minutes should be about what's happening right in that room. You know, so you're like, hey...
Which is a waste for a booker to watch.
And you're never going to show that. So, for example, like you do a show, and I'm like, I'm all of a sudden I'm in, South Bend, Indiana. I'm going to talk about stuff that might be right local that the crowd is going to love and get back. Okay, cool. But it doesn't work good for submitting. And now they're like, well, you can't cut it. I'm like, why can't I just start the video 5 minutes in when I'm actually doing material versus me going and talking about the hot dog place across the street or some local legend that no one gives a shit about when they're looking at my video in Philly, you know?
And here's the thing. They're going to watch about the first 30 seconds. And if you don't draw them in the first 30 seconds, at least that's my experience.
That would be my advice to any comedian. Any tape you're sending to a booker, they usually ask for anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes. Do your 3 best jokes up front just for that tape, because then they'll look at it, and they'll go,
and jump right into your set.
yeah,
Right,
boom,
but
boom, I'm looking at the headline.
but
If
that's
you're saving your best for last, like if you want a regular set, like when I did comedy, Carrie Carabas was my teacher. He was like an old psychopath that did comedy stellar in the Patrice Geraldo days. So not He was a badass. So she always taught us, like, open with your second best joke, then do all your filler shit, and then close with the best. You're sending it to a booker, I would do your three best right up front.
Yeah.
Right, but back when I started, back in my day, we would send them DVDs. Usually when you
Oh, I have some DVD. I have DVD submissions from.
you would mail a DVD with your name, with like you're an actor, name, email, and your cell phone number, and you would fucking literally mail it to the club. And basically they would just like,
Throw it.
They would get put and go. Some of them would watch them, and yeah, you have your three best up front. They go,
Yeah.
yeah, he's good enough.
Yeah, but if that-
And I don't know if comics know this, but it is not a requirement to start your set with "Give it up for the host," "Give it up for" all of those things.
Hey, have
They-
everybody do it. No,
Yes,
But you have
that's
to-
also a personal pet
But
peeve.
that's hard to do. So like to go into a room and just immediately walk up and start doing material, just being like, I really hate golfing. Golfing's a terrible sport. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? What do you have to almost be like, I don't know. I always feel like you have to give a couple of minutes, not necessarily to crowd work, but to at least address, hey,
I know what you're talking about.
I'm wearing this tonight,
I've done that where I'm like, hey, what's going on, South Bend?
Yeah,
But then I go right into anybody here, you 50s,
Right.
right to the drug joke.
right. And if you're recording for the intent of
Yeah,
submission,
yeah.
you can leave that off. I have stepped on stage and literally just started my set, and honestly, I prefer it because the rest of it feels so like, I don't know, not fake, but forced. I mean, I could say thanks for having me and things like that, but a lot of that feels a little bit forced.
I always feel like I have to say something about what's happening right in that moment, right in that place, because then
Like
it
to acknowledge
suspends
the crowd?
Well, because then they're like, oh, he just said that, and that he must have just wrote that, so all of this must be off the top of his head, because you know how people are, they don't realize. It makes
Yeah.
them more engaged, like, oh. And immediately I'm gonna, do like that one or two things, maybe 30 seconds, a minute of the room, or
Can I
hey,
sit
give it
up
up
for
for
a
that guy.
Just sit up for a joke.
No, yeah.
Thank you.
Give it up for that guy. Look at him with the thing and the thing. And then you go into your material, but then when you send that as a submission, they're like, no, we want you to go right into your material. And I'm like,
Right.
even when I'm watching TV and if I see a comedian start his set off with just immediate material, I feel like
No, I totally
you
understand.
got
that.
nothing
But,
for the
well,
people.
You've seen what Keith Anthony does, and he taught me that back in the day, and now you see that I do it.
Yeah.
Like when we were doing like that show upstate, where remember Diana came with us with Rachel and with that.
Right. Yep.
Like I walked right up there and started making fun of the room.
Right. You have to get into it.
You're like, that's what Keith Anthony does. Like we walk over, he goes, look at this fucking place. Like, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of comics do that in my room.
Keith Anthony used to, well, yeah, I remember I did it at your place. Like,
Yeah, it's a good thing you're a familiar.
Yeah, the drop is like a purple backdrop, and there's sparkles and crystals and shit all over.
Let me explain, Rob.
Decorations like Elton John.
Yeah.
Hey, it's this thing.
And I heckled him and said, fuck you, with love. The background on those drapes is our old spot had velvet purple drapes, and they were a staple in our old location. I tried to keep them, but they were so embedded
Velvet purple
with
drapes.
And the boys set that up, and it was it was beautiful. Purple's kind of. I didn't also make the color purple in the neon lights, but purple is our color.
The color purple
But
with Whoopi Goldberg.
I
right?
tried to salvage those drapes. They were so embedded with cigarette smoke and like
patina.
green.
I apologize.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that you could smoke in your club?
We couldn't by the time I came in, but they had been there for
Oh, I was excited for a minute.
7 years by that point. And
There's gorgeous lobby
Yeah.
outside with the homeless, with the
Yeah.
homeless people asking me for cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
The hockey moan too.
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't have those at the old spot, but in the kitchen was a lot of bar food. So I laid the drapes out on my living room floor, tried soaking them with Dawn dish soap, everything I could do to get that smell out. It didn't survive. I used them one final time for a big show and realized
Burned them?
No, they're still actually in our little tiny storage room, which is a bathroom, but bygones.
Bring them back out. Screw that.
And I
Smell of
can't.
comedy right
I
there.
can't. But like I'm pretty extra.
Finale show. Bring him out
Well, that's a
and just leave him up.
that's a possibility. But like I'm a pretty extra girl. You see my eyelashes, you see the glitter. So the glitter drape or the sequin drapes make sense. And many a comic starts out their set to win over the crowd by shitting on my drapes. And if you're familiar with me, it's a funny joke. And if you're not, I'm offended.
Sweet. Yeah.
That's good.
I said, who decorated this place with Liberace? And then I said Elton John, and I was just picking a different gay guy. I might have said Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. There's been a lot of really good ones, to be honest.
Appropriate. No.
I don't think Prince was gay.
No.
He was purpley, but he wasn't
No.
gay.
He was purpley, but he wasn't gay.
But despite all that talk about videos, the real way to get a spot at the club is for Heather to just see you perform.
Yeah.
For Heather to get out to wherever you're performing.
Yeah, it's the best way.
watch you perform and go, I liked the comedy, or I liked their personality, or I liked what they did with the audience, or how they were able to control or get the room going.
Yeah. And
Feel it so much better. Like I've even had sets where I'm like, I know I did really good. Everyone loved me tonight. And then I go home and listen to it and I'm like, it doesn't sound.
it doesn't translate.
It doesn't sound like what I felt or what they felt.
Yeah.
It's still a good tape, but that's also because you don't mic the audience.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, now I will say, some of our comics that have more experience, we have mic'd the audience for their record. Like we will give freedom to our regulars to wire up the room for a recording,
That's
even if
nice.
it's not an album recording. And I'm just lucky to have a lot of guys with very good skills. But back to Mark's point, I am proud of. I make it a significant effort to get out and see comics perform live. I make it a significant effort to be in my room when most of the comics are on stage. So another strategy is to come out and do a guest spot, even if it's beneath you and it pays $10, because I'm likely to.
Yeah, but a guest spot that pays $10 is like,
Please
that's
tell.
not even a guest spot anymore. That's a paid spot to most
Please
comics. You
tell
understand?
the world.
I didn't get paid for
You-
2 years in Minneapolis. Well,
Oh, in Minneapolis.
Well, that's how I basically, when Heather literally gave me the November 1st and 2nd date, is because me and Adam were dropping in from another place, and then we did the mic.
Yeah.
And then basically at the end of the night, you're like, November 1st, 2nd, I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. And we had several hangs over the years.
Yeah, that's just smart.
When we used to do Dayton, every Friday, one show Friday, two show Saturday, we would go in a night early, and the club owner would like get us like he's got a room, like you guys get a room, like with a deal.
Yeah.
So we always say, we'd go in a night earlier, we would go to the open mic, and then like the 8 people that went up, we'd walk over and go, that girl's doing the guest spot on the first show, that guy's doing the guest spot on the early show Saturday, and that guy's doing, and that's how we found our micers.
Yeah, and that's great when you work with bookers that are willing to accept that. I'm too controlling.
You know, this guy Wyatt Lux was like,
Oh, Wyatt.
yeah, he was like a just beginner. And
Oh.
featuring for every famous guy in the Midwest.
Wyatt's crushing right now.
Found him in an open mic and gave him a spot. And then we just happened to like fall in love with his personality.
Also, yes.
Now he was funny, but now he's hilarious. And we became friends with him. There's another guy I've read to us about.
You know, couch
Couching? What?
Edit that. Don't. It's who I am as a person. Couch crashing is great. I wouldn't love it anymore these days, but Mark traveled across the country and slept in his vehicle to make it to,
Who, Mark Cato Palin?
yeah, right there. 2 weeks. Got some gigs in Austin. Attended in my place of industry for a festival. Can I say the festival? It's a good one.
Sure, yeah.
Altercation Fest in Austin was in November. He also did Cleveland Comedy Fest right before that. Represented me well, brought back his thoughts, and I took the thoughts I wanted and left the ones I didn't. But yeah, Altercation Fest they've been doing it several years. They're
I wouldn't think that as a comedy festival. I think that would be like a police convention. You're here at Altercation Fest. You know, you just show up there and be like,
Every weekend, they get drunk and do altercations.
they're a festival that goes against the grain.
all right, so it's a little alt comedy fest.
All right, we got
Yes.
this one going up.
Yes.
The Altercation Fest. This is the Stop Resisting room.
Yeah, we got it on Patreon on floor number 2. All good, it's fun.
So, how did it get done? Who made this? Like, what's the backstory on it?
So the actual cutting of the metal for that sign is unclear, and it is a part of the story. Mike Hollinger, our graphic designer, designed the logo, and I'll talk a little bit more about him later. But I had a memory thinking it was a certain gentleman that had actually had the sign built or cut in the original opening of the club, which turned out to be not the case. I was working with the owner of the Dewdrop, who, COVID, she couldn't come back from that. A lot of businesses went out, and we absolutely loved Dee Dee. But we were working on picking up our belongings. I mentioned a little bit that it was a pretty easy transition taking over as owners. Like, we kept the cash on hand, and we're under the impression that any physical materials, equipment, amps, things like that were property of the previous owners. However, there had been a number of hands that it had passed through. So I reached out to Dee Dee, and COVID created some real rough times, and I did not know the full story that Dee Dee funded the sign. And we were really hoping to take that sign with us to our new location. We put work.
Yeah, it's a sign for the club. It's not
Right.
nothing changed.
Right. And in my mind, it belongs to us. And it is really the symbol of where we come from, where we've been, what we stand for. And Dee Dee and I had a reasonable conversation where she explained to me some of the things that I wasn't aware of. And
that's always the way.
yep. And she was in a tough spot. She needed to be able to sell as much as she could to recover some costs. And unbeknownst to me, someone had reached out to her and offered to purchase that sign for $300.
That's so stupid.
And I will say I don't 100% know the reasoning, so this is an alleged statement, that person intended to put it in like a man cave for a piece of memorabilia.
Yeah.
It was,
I've done that.
yeah, which that would have been a great piece of memorabilia, but since the club was still moving forward and just changing locations, I really was trying to figure out, how do we get this sign, or how do we get a new one made? Because I thought that was what I was going to have to do, recreate it. In talking with Dee Dee, this lovely, lovely woman, and explaining the circumstances, and talking with my partner at the time, we had agreed that we were willing to buy back the sign. So whatever she had been offered, we were willing to offer her in my opinion, not in a dirty way, because, we were just offering to move it to the next location. And once we talked through it, she agreed to that. We signed a little bit of a receipt, paid her cash, and we bought what I believe to have always been our own sign a second time. And we were able to install it at our new location. And if we should ever move again, the sign would come with us as a very important staple.
We literally even have a sign forever now.
I know, it's on my back. This is the most amazing thing.
You cannot lose this because it's literally in your skin forever.
And someday it might be saggy and I'll still love it.
It's gonna be.
Mark shaking his head over there.
Oh, what a design thing, like imagine you're trying to open the club and somebody's like, "But I need that for my man cave. We have a business." Yeah, but you know, I already bought it, so it's going to my man cave.
Yeah, it was a disappointment for me. You know, I try to assume the best in.
Did they charge you more to take it back?
No, we offered her the 300. She felt bad. I mean, she didn't. The thing was that the person that did reach out was somebody that I had contacted trying to find out where it was made. So it was a little dirty. But when I was able to offer Dee Dee the same amount so that she could pay her bills, she was willing to tell that person that it wasn't available anymore.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I mistook it. The way I heard that, I thought you could buy it from the guy that actually.
Oh, no. She had not exchanged. It was still on the walls. And there was a smaller sign outside of the front door that she also gave with.
That's some carny. That's some carny shit right there, though. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I've definitely heard old school tattoo stories where they'd be like, are you gonna put the green in my Italian flag? Like, the green costs extra because the green doesn't come with the tattoo because the green's a magical color, and you're like, okay.
And Rob grew up in Selden, so he knows all about carnies.
I know a thing or two about carnies too.
Smell like cabbage.
Selden's a carnival town.
They got a documentary. I want to watch it.
The tattoo business is it's birthed out of the carnival business, really. It's a mixture of the sailing traditions and the carnival traditions.
Oh.
So you basically have like a half carny, half sailor kind of love child. That's really what it is, yeah.
That's fascinating.
All tattooing was like sailors and carnival workers up until like 60s, 70s. And everything kind of became more of a year-round regular business.
I can learn new things.
Yeah.
Oh, what did we just talk about 2 minutes ago? And I was like, we gotta bring that back up when we're on here. Well, you did the podcast the other day. You got to go and see.
Oh, yes. So we were very fortunate being in the city. And Mark was so kind to purchase tickets to the recording of Legion of Skanks. Yeah, and just by chance, I had already been in some conversations with Louis J's manager about bringing him to the drop. So I'm working on solidifying that. It was an amazing experience. Up front, center, they panned me out of the direct line for good reason.
What'd you do?
No, well, at first you can see like a half of my body and like one breast. And
She didn't project her boobs into the shot enough, and that's where it cost her.
I disagree. I think it was distracting.
It was
They
too
panned it
much.
out on purpose.
Too much boobage for yeah, but come on, how could it be for that podcast?
Doing it enough. That was the problem.
I don't know. Or maybe it was just the angle of the camera that needed to sit precisely to hit the guys right.
Up front. That's in all these live recordings.
Yeah, they're a bunch of filthy pirates.
Well, you know what? You should have agreed to change me seats right there in the middle of it. But it was a great pod. I've had follow-ups since. Lewis was kind as could be. Jay was kind as could be. Took a photo with us. Couldn't have been happier. And did I already say this? I did.
We talked about it.
Yeah,
earlier.
but did I said, yeah, we were up front. If anyone watches that episode, you'll hear me. You'll
Go ahead and do the laugh.
I don't know if it's going to pick up the laugh as much. I've watched part of it so far. But there's a point where
Burgess Meredith. What was it, the Penguin?
I threw something off. You'd be able to pick up on the fact that part was me. And then as we walked out of the room, not filming, My backpack knocked over a couple of glasses. I can't
So
be
you're throwing shit
taken
all over the
every,
place?
yeah, and then I was like, I'm sorry, and trying to pick it up, and they're like, literally, ma'am, we got this, in a kind way. And then when we went back last night, they were like, good to see you again.
Wait, you went back?
We went back for another show.
That's cool.
We caught Dan Soder and several other.
Josh Adam Meyer.
Yeah,
It's also a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I know all these podcasts, but I don't watch a lot of podcasts because I feel like it's just they all just take so long to watch. So I'm not gonna lie. What are you laughing at, Chris? I don't watch podcasts.
You don't gotta watch it.
No, I'm not talking about our podcast. I watch our entire podcast all the time. I mean, podcasts and other podcasts, though, I'm just like, I can't
Listen,
even. But,
it's taken me a while, and I still don't watch a lot of comedy podcasts. I'm a true crime girl.
Joke World. I give shout out to Joke World. I don't know if you
Yes.
follow them on YouTube.
I do.
They're great because they just give me the breakdown. It's like, remember that show Talk Soup back in the day?
Oh,
Yes.
loved it.
Talk Soup with, what's the comic that was on that show?
There was a couple of them.
Craig Kilborn, and there was another one after that.
There was
Who's the other
another
guy?
guy. He had dark hair, little skunk spot.
Yeah, there was
Real funny.
few guys, but definitely, Talk Soup was like broke down all the talk shows, and
all
where
the best of the
Joke World
shows.
breaks down all the podcasts.
Yeah, he had a
Joke World
great
doesn't break down this podcast, does it? Not yet, but you'll see.
coming soon.
Kinnear.
Yeah.
No, the red-haired guy.
John Henson.
Yeah.
That's a Muppet guy,
That was a
John
great-
Henson.
That was Jim
Oh.
Henson was the Muppet guy.
Oh,
Yeah, close.
same
You
thing.
couldn't watch all the trash shows, but you could watch the best clips on Top Soup and then make fun of it.
Well, that's where I look at Joke World. I look at Joke World and go, oh, okay, oh, Mark Norman's on this podcast. Oh, it looks like it was controversial or fun or different. All right, I'll watch that one.
We did a great compilation response to the comedian that presented at a political event, and it was on all sides. It was very well done, and a lot of comedic takes, and that's how I watched my first Joke World.
Oh, that's recent. Yeah.
Yeah, I like pods that give takes from both sides that don't lean too far into
I
one
agree.
belief system or another.
I agree. We shouldn't be. We're supposed to be funny, you know. I mean, we all have our political beliefs and whatnot, but at the end of the day, your political party should be funny. Comedy first.
Yes, yeah, we should be making fun of all sides if we're gonna go there.
Right. Especially Dominicans, because those people.
I thought you were gonna say Puerto Ricans, and man,
We've done Puerto Ricans too much, you know. We're getting it all too much these days. Right, it's true. Like Puerto Ricans are always getting made fun of, but really the Dominicans, they get away with murder. I'm doing some highlights and stuff. We're almost at the end here.
oh my god.
Oh, I should say
can't
that. Any things that you're wanting to discuss that you might have forgot or
Darn, there was one I got through the start. My comedy crew. We mentioned I talked about Louis J. Fingers crossed, April. This
Nice.
will not be released by then, so check back to see if I've succeeded.
well, yeah. I mean, just go to your. What's the best way to view all the bookings and stuff for the drop? How?
Oh man, what a great question! That by the time this airs will be resolved.
Facebook
Cool.
page right now, right?
Yes, right now through social media, Facebook, Instagram, the Drop Comedy Club. You can search tickets through Eventbrite. Our website is under construction, and I'm working on actually a total rebrand on the website because much like the sign, I can't acquire the domain to make any changes. So we're looking at changing up some things.
All right. That's
And
good, though. That's healthy.
by August, though, the new website will be established. So I'll shoot it to Chris. Maybe we can plug it in.
Yeah, that's a good healthy thing to do. Rebranding is nice. Sometimes, you know, shake off old shit, do new stuff.
Yeah, and even, I mean, I think we're really at a growth point, in my opinion, right now by adding the production side. I'm managing, I'll say officially, at least one comic right now, though I've taken on some work for many other comics. And I handle a lot of Mark's bookings and networking because it's nobody's favorite job in the industry except mine.
You like that? You really like that?
I love the networking part. I love to do stand up, and I've been booked a lot more than I had given focus to in the past. I'm like at feature level and pretty solid there right now. But I would pick the networking side sometimes over the opportunity to get on a stage because I want to create a comic that takes it all the way and is a famous household name at some point.
Yeah, I've never seen her be as excited about a performance she's done as I've seen her be excited about networking an event, connecting with comics, setting up a show, like getting all the pieces lined up. I see her over the moon about that.
That's important because comedy, a lot of people just think it's one thing. Oh, you're just up there telling jokes and stuff and this and that. But it's like, no, there are some people that are amazing writers. All they want to do is write. There are some people that are amazing at planning an actual show, an event, producing podcasts, doing all sorts of behind-the-scenes stuff that other people just don't know how to do. And it's hard to be an everything person. Like, if you think you're doing a great job as manager and booker and comic and writer and podcaster and TikToker and all the other, one of those you're doing way better.
Yeah, and probably are at a level where you have a team that can do some of the tasks for you. It's hard to balance all things at all times, so I find that certain pieces will take a back seat for a while I get a prioritized task.
Yeah.
Taken care of, and then we get back to it. I hope that it's not always that way, and that it can become more balanced, and I think that it can. I will say, I never thought I would feel as much passion for comedy, the comedy industry, comics themselves, when I first walked in the doors at the club. I never knew
That's important.
how much passion I could have for this industry. And I said a little bit about, I was in education in the past, in special education specifically, so I have a real heart for inclusive spaces.
It was a good setup for working with comics.
Yeah, I know, you hack, but
A lot of special needs kids, a lot of special needs comics,
No, you're not
you joke, but that's true. The things that create inclusive spaces are often little things like fidgets for anxiety, booking a lot of comics with autism and being aware of sensory needs.
Or alcoholism.
I don't have a raised stage at our club currently, and it comes up a lot.
Wait, what?
We do not
have a raised it.
I do not.
Cancel the whole podcast. I don't even want to be on you on.
Yeah, hear me
What kind of
out.
half a fucking bunch of bullshit is that?
Hear me out.
You don't even have a milk crate or a soapbox?
Nope.
Stage is on level, Rob. Like, we don't get to feel like a pharmacist, like 12 inches higher than the rest of the public.
Yeah.
You're telling me I have to stand down there in the trenches with these
The
shitty
room's so small
pads?
that they are sitting on top of you. Those tables are very close. But
I'm surprised it's not raised seats, so we have to look up to them.
then what do I do?
Yo, imagine a club where the whole thing is backwards, where you have to look like one of those old auditoriums where you're performing surgery in the 1900s, where you just look up like, ladies and gentlemen. Look at, I'm an illusionist now. I'm not even a comic.
You ever see that show that
Okay, Keenan.
where like Clive Owen, he does surgeries and everybody's watching?
Yeah, they're fucking looking down at you like some kind of spectacle.
No, you're on even ground.
I'm dressed just like this. I'm like with my gloves on, like showing human autopsy organs to the. I don't know what happened. See, this is why I like this.
Totally off track of my very important platform statement.
you. Oh, that's the top.
We didn't even, as soon as we're like, there's no stage, fuck this, we're out.
All right.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry,
ready to
I'm
get
sorry.
back on board?
Sorry,
All right.
I pulled back. I healed back the balance of my time.
1% of people feel more comfortable.
No, I made my space wheelchair accessible and also accessible to. Yeah, I know.
Wheelchair people.
Now, so
Yeah,
far,
because-
not one wheelchair
No,
get
that's-
the place, but
We have
Don't.
one
We
day.
won't air our dirty laundry
we're gonna
there.
have a
Heather, I always say this whenever me and Adam pull in the Cracker Barrel and everything. I'm like, look at them. They all got close space. They got everything.
Yep.
Really? They got the world by the balls.
Well, you know what? No,
I park way out there and walk bridges in the goddamn parking lot.
I do think it is actually admirable that you do have a stage that
is considered part of this.
that people with a wheelchair can actually get on, because I
And
know
there's lots of mobility.
I know a handful of comics in wheelchairs, and it is painful when they come in and it's like everyone's got to lift them up like some kind of Jewish wedding.
Yeah,
They're all carrying
and
around the room.
that is literally what I'm trying to avoid is the humanity of individuals, the not making a spectacle of it, level playing field, or
Yeah, level playing field.
Yeah,
You
okay.
You stepped in that one.
I'm about to like do a slip of the tongue that gets me canceled. But
That's okay. You can't get canceled on this show.
In our old location, we actually built a massive, way too massive ramp because, and in order to get the measurements right, it had to be massive. That was stored in the garage of my house for years because we only had a couple of comics that were in need of it at that time.
Right.
And to me, when we moved to the new space, and I saw we have a Drop Comedy Club rug, like from the old location that was passed on with us. That's perfect. So it creates a stage boxing, and we've got the the mic stands there, and the stool that's too low that everyone wants to hump.
Stool humping?
But
Oh, you can't do stool humping.
It's her most popular post yet.
oh yeah, no, that was when I was humping the sign. Oh my goodness, I'll send you the photo in case you want to flash it up there. I did hump our sign once. No regrets.
Oh, I think we are
favorite.
almost. Yep, I believe we are in there. To clean this off just to make absolutely sure. And how are you feeling?
I am feeling great.
I like how I didn't even check in like during this tattoo. I was like, nah,
You
you've
could
been
hear
here.
my breathing.
You're fine.
So I could do a quick.
Well, we can say it
a
right
quick
now.
Thank
like,
you.
'cause
All right.
It's in there, and so actually, who is the designer of the sign itself?
Mike Hullinger, he's our regular graphic designer when I'm not, piecing things together in Canva willy-nilly. He's designed all of our logos. We do own the logo now, but he's the original designer and continues to do all of our work for that. You can find him on social media on Instagram under Lucid Noir. He's a hilarious comic and talented artist, which is very true. I have bought lots of his artwork.
And Hail Satan. you would say.
Can find him at Lucid Noir on Instagram or look up Mike Hullinger Artist on Instagram. He also has a podcast where he talks about horror movies and bizarre stuff on Spotify called Weird Awesome. So you can also follow that if you're into horror movies and creepy things.
Very nice, very excellent. We actually should also say our two audience members / guests out here, Mark and Terry, would you guys both like to say your credits, website, so we could find you too as well?
Terry McGilly Comedian on Instagram. That's pretty much all I give a shit about.
Oh, well, okay. All right, you're welcome.
Yeah, and Mark Darden. Been at a little bit, and regular at the Drop, and getting around all the other states. Starting to.
You have a Instagram or
I've thrown up in 28 states.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mark Darden Comics on Facebook or Instagram.
Sweet. All right. We got you guys in there. And I guess, is this the point in time where I do the sign off? Mm-hmm. And if there's anything you'd like to plug to at the end of. Well, so ends another fantastic episode of Who the F is Rob White? I'm Rob White. You know me. This is what I do. Heather Mae. Heather Mae, would you like to tell them where they can find your social media, all that kind of stuff?
Sure thing. You can find me on Instagram at Heather Mayo, not Mayo. That is Heather Maeo, and on Facebook as Heather Mae. I welcome follows. Give me lots of follows and comics. Just know that if you inundate my DMs with booking requests, it will take me 3 to 5 months to get back to you. But don't lose faith.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you all. Have a good night.